Hello, day 18. We have covered so much over the last 17 days, and I dare say because of the amount that we have gone through and I've talked about, there's probably this one thing that is starting to pop up if it hasn't already, probably will. You probably went through it in the first few days anyway, imposter syndrome. And I think at the end of the day, we all experience self-doubt. And it's one of these things where every level new devil, like it doesn't matter what stage you get to, whether you're in the very beginning stages and you're just getting started, you're starting to get things off the ground and it's running and it's moving, or, you're absolutely thriving, but you see all these people looking at you and depending on you, like every level new devil, you are always going to come across some point in time where you think to yourself, like, oh, can I do this? Am I really cut out for this? Am I just fluking this? Like there's always going to be those thoughts, and that's okay. I have a couple of different opinions about imposter syndrome, and one of them being that, like, if you don't have imposter syndrome, you're not pushing yourself to your highest potential and you're not pushing yourself to step outside of your comfort zone, because if everything just felt comfortable and easy, then, you wouldn't really think to yourself like, oh my God, like, am I really cut out for this? Being like complacent and comfortable, like nothing incredible comes from comfort zone. So I actually want you to flip the script with that and think to yourself like, oh, I'm feeling this way because I'm pushing myself, and what's on the other side of feeling like this is going to be incredible. So that's one thing. But let's have a talk about it. So it doesn't have to stop you. Imposter syndrome, like it's like I said, it's going to come up at every point in time, and you're going to go through it in the different stages of your journey. You might experience it once a month. You might experience it once every 6 months. Like everybody experiences this at a different points in their journey. But let's do it. Let's talk about it. So let's just first of all just recognize it. Like actually understand that it's actually super common, and it doesn't mean you're not capable. So the thing is, even I promise you, the amount of people that I've worked with, the people that I know online and outside of the online world, like every successful person I know goes through this. Like it sucks, but I don't know one single successful person that would look me dead in the eye and say to me, Madeline, I've never felt like I've had imposter syndrome. Like every single person has it. Trust me. But if you just ignore it, then honestly, that's when it's going to rear its ugly head. But if you recognize it and you accept it for what it is, you can actually turn it into such a powerful thing. So next thing, I want you to celebrate your wins. And again, this is like different scales, but like keep a list of your achievements. So like whether they're big or small. And then when the imposter syndrome comes in, just remind yourself of it. Like keep it on like the notes app on your phone. And I want you to brag about yourself. I want you to be like, actually, I am a bloody legend at this. At this one thing, I actually kill it, and I could teach this to anyone. Like I love it. I'm so good at it. I smashed it. It helps me build my business. Like I am a legend. Like that's pretty much essentially where I want you to be sitting with it, because there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. And on the bad days, when you're having those imposter syndromes, go and have a read through your notes and be like, actually, yeah, maybe maybe I don't suck. Like, look at this. Like, look at me telling me how good I am. And what would even take this to the next level is if you recorded yourself talking to yourself on voice notes. So when you're feeling like absolute shit, you can go ahead and play that to yourself and just be like, okay, cool. It's just a bad day. Doesn't mean I'm failing. Doesn't mean I'm not cut out for it. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means it's a bad day because I already know that I'm a legend. That's what I want you to do. And I want you to reframe like the negative imposter syndrome thoughts with like, oh, I don't belong here, or I can't do it, or, I'm not cut out for this, to just being like, I'm learning. I'm new at this. I'm growing. I'm evolving. It's changing, and it's hard because it's a change. It's not hard. It's not like hard because I'm incapable. It's hard because it's a change and it's challenging me, but I am capable. Like I actually want you to, I'm not the person to sit here and tell you like, oh, just like, and while I don't want you to like completely take this, to, just take it with a grain of salt, but I'm not the person to sit here and be like, oh, you can manifest your dream life. The affirmations you tell are going to come true. Like I believe in the hustle, in the work, like make it happen for you. But what I also believe is that like the way that you speak to yourself is like so incredibly important in that. So like have those affirmations there in that notes up to be like, I am capable. It's not because I'm not capable. It's just because it's a challenge. That's why it feels this way. So I really want you to think about the way that you're actually thinking and speaking to yourself. And then another thing, and this is like, sounds so much easier said than done, But I just want you to do the thing anyway. Like, just take the action. Like, just do it. Because confidence, like, it often follows through with like the actions that we take. And so say, for example, if you're unsure and you're thinking to yourself like, oh, am I cut out for this? Or, oh, can I do this or whatever? Just do it. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Just do it. Like, just go in and just do it. Because once you do it and you realize, oh, I actually didn't die. Like, I'm actually good. Like, we're sweet as. That's when you're going to feel better about yourself. That's when you're going to be able to give yourself the evidence that you are capable. Because if you sit there and you think to yourself like, oh, I can't do this because like whatever the reason is, and then you don't do it, you've just built the evidence that no, you're not capable of doing it. Whereas if you do it, you build the evidence that like you did it. Was it perfect? Probably not. Is there room for improvement? Probably, yeah. But did you die? No. You're still kicking? Great. Move on. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just repetition, like keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it until you think like, what was I even worried about that for? Like, I'm cool at this now. Like, I've learned enough about this. Like, I'm good as. And then the next thing is just like actually seek support, basically. Like, actually like reach out. Like, come into this space, like come into Charismatic Creators and just be like, hey, Mads, I'm feeling like absolute shit today because I feel like an imposter because I'm trying to do this and it feels really heavy. And honestly, trust me, probably been there, done that. If I haven't, someone else in the community probably has. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm telling you now, like, even the people that you look up to and, you kind of feel like, oh, that person's so good at it and they're just killing it. I promise you, everyone has been there and done that and felt like shit at some point. So, like, whether it be like the people that you look up to, your mentors, your peers, like the community, like just sharing it with your audience, even just being like, no one relates. This is what I want you to consider as well. No one relates to somebody that gets online and says like, I'm perfect. I do this. I do that. I know everything. Blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, cool. Good on you. Whereas if someone comes up and trust me, I have literally shared like vulnerable and being like, you know what, this sucks, and this sucked. Like, and you know what, the times that I say things like that, so many more people respect it and they're just like, oh, like, thanks for speaking the truth, like, thanks for being so authentic, because like no one wants to hear, oh, I'm perfect and you're not. Whereas if somebody says like, you know what, that sucks, that was hard, but you know what, I got through it, isn't that so much more inspiring? That's what builds a good community, when you're actually honest and truthful about these things and like just being transparent. So as much as I would have loved to have been able to jump on here and being like, here's how you solve imposter syndrome and never experience it again, I can't. I promise you, I can't. No one can. No, if anyone tells you they can, they're full of it. No one can, because at the end of the day, like I said, every level, new devil. You will get to a point where you will master where you're at. You will go through that ceiling. You'll reach your new level, and then you'll be like, well, I feel like this again. Like, it's going to keep happening, and it's just a matter of whether you let it control you or not. So today's task, I want you to write down 3 things you've achieved recently that you're proud of. And I want you to reflect on like why they matter to you and how they like show you the growth that you're experiencing. And I don't care if these are literally just as small as like I posted content every single day for 1 week. I jumped on a live. I actually finished that email flow that I said I was going to do. I held my boundaries this week, even when I felt like I couldn't and I felt like I was just going to let it all slip again. I, reached out and had a conversation that I felt awkward about having. I just hit a 20 grand cash week. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what the achievement is. I don't care what the achievement is. I care that you're proud of yourself, because it matters so heavily about how you speak to yourself. So I want you to write down the 3 things, and I want you to open up that notes folder in your phone, and I want you to record. You can write it down if you want, but I just think it's going to be so much more impactful if you just record yourself, like a note to yourself. So on those days when you feel like it's really heavy and you don't know if you can keep doing it and you don't know if you cut out for it, you can listen to yourself, because you are your own biggest cheerleader. And I just want you to set yourself up essentially with like a toolbox of things that are going to help you push through on those days. So I just want you to remember, you are exactly where you need to be. Your journey is unique to you. It's valuable to you. You are so inspiring to other people. You just need to keep going. You need to keep pushing, and you need to never let anything hold you back. That's it from me today. Please make sure that you go and do today's task. Open that folder on your phone. You will be surprised how much it helps you. Have the best day, and see you tomorrow.